Welcome to Kick Him in the Head, a podcast that takes an inside look at the world of mixed martial arts, featuring interviews from some of the top fighters from South Africa and around the world, with a focus on the EFC and UFC promotions. I'm your host, Yao. Join us as we delve deep into the techniques, strategies, and mindsets of these world-class athletes, learning from their experiences and getting insights into what it takes to succeed in the toughest sport on earth. Welcome to the Kick Him in the Head podcast. And as always, I have an absolutely jam-packed MMA episode for you. Today, we are talking EFC 118. This is the EFC 118 prediction show. And I am very, very proud, very, very happy to welcome a very special guest to this prediction show. From Elite Slap Sports, the one and only Aggie, the Kraken. Aggie, how are you doing tonight?
Hey man, thank you for having me. I'm great, man. Just came from the gym and I decided to have my protein shake in the EFC glass. So hey, let's go. Let's kick it. I'm ready.
There it is. We're talking all things EFC tonight. So that is the absolute to be sipping on this evening. I think, Aggie, for those who don't know, obviously it's your first time on the show. Just tell us a little bit more about yourself, your involvement and your interest in EFC, the super fan you are, just so people know who you are, and then we'll get straight into the predictions.
Yeah, so Achi Stanang Ramaruti. I came in first as like a fan, just like trying to check out the fights and stuff. Then I started realizing the amount of impact that the sport has had in my life. It's made me meet so many people. So I was like, hey man, since this thing has done so much for me, why don't I do something for it too and just become a super fan? I think I am the first EFC super fan. And yeah, I guess I'm a shield for Team CIT also because they bring me so much joy, man. They bring me so much joy. So yeah, but that's about it.
That's amazing. EFC super fans are the exact people who anyone watching the show would want to have on to know exactly who they should be betting on in this coming EFC event. So I think with that said, thank you so much for joining us. Looking forward to talking more slap with you. Let's get into the prediction show.
Let's go.
Now, this is the current lineup that we have for EFC 118. Obviously, in the main event, we have Rudy Roots versus Ayanda Zwane, Relentless versus The Power for the interim featherweight championship. Obviously, we know that the current featherweight champion, Igor Cabeza, is disposed at the lightweight division. He is currently getting ready to fight to defend his lightweight strap against Chilumba Mikishi. So the interim strap is up for grabs between Rudy Roots and Ayanda Zwane. There's quite a few interesting fights here. We're going to go into more detail in the rest of the show. But just at a glance, which fight here are you looking forward to seeing?
First of all, I've been seeing like Zombie training, and that kid is just he's so technical, even when he trains. I'm looking forward to seeing him, first of all, because I think he's probably going to be like the performance of the night, performance of the night. So I think Zondi is one to look out for. And I think Peace also. I think Peace also has like a statement to say, yeah, X marks the spot, man. Since the boogeyman of the welterweight division left, I think there's like a huge opening for the guys. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And the Van Staden fight, the Staden versus Henning. I think Henning lost to, is it Humphrey? I think, if I remember.
Yes, he lost to Humphrey.
Yeah, he lost to Humphrey. And yeah, because also I think Van Staden just has that elite experience because he's been overseas and stuff. Henning, I don't want to say much about him. I haven't really looked into him, but yeah. And Oosterhuizen also is like
Billy the Kid.
he's never in boring fights, man. He's never in boring fights.
That's
So,
true.
like it's just shout out to Graham for hooking us up with this card and Moyo also. It's just like a feast, It's a feast, and I'm hoping I can be there by 3 o'clock so that I can see the whole card.
Be there by 3 o'clock to see the whole card. That's the problem I have as well because I'm at work at that time, so I get there just as the prelims are usually ending. But
Yeah.
One fight that did change, though, is Lucky Maheka versus Emerson Pedro. It was supposed to be David Mambo, who has pulled out with an injury, but I agree with you with all those fights. Those are all great fights. The first one you mentioned versus Godfrey, Feral Spunky Mkona, both on the podcast, and they had very interesting things to say. But I think with that, let's get into the main event. Let's talk about Rudy Roots versus Ayanda Zwane. Starting with Rudy. Now, we obviously have Rudy coming off tough, the
Yeah.
ultimate fight, trained by Valentina Shevchenko, 7-1 record, still young. He's only what, 28.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What are your thoughts on Rudy having come back from tough to now fight for the interim, straight into the conversation to fight for the interim featherweight strap?
Let's not forget that he's with also the current champ, Iga. So I would say he is probably going to make it a walk in the park. Actually, he's going to make it a walk in the park because I saw his fight in tough, and his first fight actually in tough, and it was just a barn burner. He was put into the fire and he pulled it out. He pulled it out. So I think Rudy's gonna take this one. Ayanda, I think Ayanda lost to Iga, right? Or his last fight.
No, no, he lost to
Who did he
Simba,
lose
the
to?
Hawk,
Yeah, Simba Raj. Oh yes, because it was for the,
the
yeah, it was
Grand
like a
Prix. He
title
lost in the Grand
eliminator.
Prix.
Yeah, it was a
Yes.
title eliminator. Um, so there's so much happening in the featherweight division that I'm just I think Ayanda is not going to be able to pull it out. I think he's not going to be able to pull it out. Rudy has that elite experience. He has that tough, like Valentina coaching, but also I think Ayanda Zwani he's I think he's just like one of those. He is there, but he just needs something to break into like the elite status of EFC athletes, and I don't think he has that in him. I just don't think he has that in him.
So the record in foreign to training out of, it says that Johannesburg, but he trains out of Cape Town under Attila Barna. He's trained with Luke Michael. We know that Rudy Roots is right now training with his dad, who is the first person in 16 years to get someone Olympic qualified for wrestling.
Olympic EC, that's also
And like you
bad.
said, he trains with Iga Smiley, the GOAT, Cabeza, who is, as we know, the greatest wrestler in the country, on the continent. And once he gets out of South Africa, probably in the world, we'll see. But do you not think that the wrestling that the Yandas got, the wrestling background, plus the lightning hands, the power, do you not think that could give Rudy a challenge?
The, like let's just say this: he trains with the champ. Okay, did you see what Iga did to Humphrey? Did you see that?
Yeah.
You see,
That was
so
mind blowing, honestly.
it
It's
was
mind
just
blowing.
mind blowing because everybody was just like in awe of like the performance. So just imagine what um Rudy has in his arsenal. I get that Ayanda is a very powerful wrestler, and maybe he could get like a lucky shot in, but I don't see him going past maybe the second round because I think Rui's pressure is just going to be all over him from the first round when the bell rings, and it's just going to be a barn burner. Like I think Rudy is going to make it look easy. Yeah,
Okay. Well, that's the main event. You're looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. But also, co-main, the fight that comes right before that, the return of the Punisher, Martin van Staden versus Cole, the Hitman Henning, fighting out of Hitman MMA. Oh my goodness, this fight in the lightweight division is something very, very exciting. I think first let's talk about Martin van Staden, the Punisher. He's back. 21-13 record, stellar professional record.
yeah.
What are your thoughts on him coming back to the UFC after, I think, what, 2.5 years? He's now 41. What are your thoughts on him?
I think for us CIT is, age is none but a number. Age is nothing but a number, and I'm looking forward to seeing him make his return because I believe he still has it in him. Because I've been seeing him train also, and I'm just looking forward to. I think that's what it says. Interesting, yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing.
I think let's dial back to Ayanda very quickly before we go into
Yeah,
there because Ayanda is in the chat. Shout out Ayanda Zwani, the power in the chat. Thank you
thank
so much for joining us. Really appreciate it.
you.
Um, so yeah, you say it's easy. Ayanda says he doesn't think so with a very big smile. Speaking directly to him, what do you have to say in the chats?
I'm just looking forward to seeing him like do what he says he's gonna do, man. Because Rudy is just that elite, that elite, and I if he pulls it off, I would personally give him a handshake and eat my words and just tell him that I'm looking forward to seeing him just do wonders. Maybe he can move to Saudi, or like represent South Africa and Saudi, or maybe he could represent South Africa and tough. So we don't know. So I'm just looking forward to seeing his performance, and please prove me wrong. Otherwise, I will be here and I will be celebrating with my shirt on off. Sorry, with my shirt off, with my
Now
with my flags.
I'm gonna look for you in the audience after that fight just to
Uh,
see where your shirt is.
yeah.
Get that handshake ready. See y'all soon, says Ayanda the Powers on it. Thank you so much for
Let's
joining
go.
us,
Let's
Ayanda.
go, man.
Now, back to Martin van Staden, 41 years old, returning to the EFC. Ring rust is a real thing. He has had international competition. Last time he fought was out in UAE Warriors. He was my fighter of the week in our show this past week. Why? Because it turns out that he and I have the same butcher. I mean, he stays in Sunning Hill. I stay up the road. So I'm like, yes, fighter of the week. But what are your thoughts on him coming back to now fight the hitman Cole Henning, who we know has been on a little bit of a skid lately? He's, I think, on a
Yeah.
2-fight losing streak now. He's lost to Humphrey Mulenga. And if we look at how his career went, at the beginning of his career, he was on a win streak. I think he's been fighting since about EFC 42 or something. So
Yeah.
he's a mainstay of the EFC. He's now got a 10 fights under his belt, 5 losses, 5 wins. How are you feeling about this fight?
I think, like I said, a Martin via KO. Martin via KO, because, like I said, Henning's loss to Humphrey was just so brutal. It was just so brutal, and it just showed that like he doesn't have like he cannot take like the big hits. He cannot take the big hits. But also, Van Staden, man, he trains out of CIT, man. I cannot go against CIT. I cannot go against CIT. I I'm a huge
You're
fan,
trying your
and
best, but you can't.
I can't. I'm trying to hype Henning up, but like nothing is just coming out. But I'm looking forward to seeing him, like maybe get back into the winning column, and yeah, you see. So if he could do that for us, it will be something great to watch. Maybe he could like maybe 2 fights in, he could get like a title shot or something. But so far, I'm thinking Van Staden KO, maybe in the third round. I would say, yeah, Van Staden KO by third round.
That is a very interesting fight. I think that one is one that I'm looking forward to. Like I said,
Mm.
big fan of Martin. It's good to have the partnership back. Also, a fan of Cole. Love seeing him walk around the EFC, well, World Sport Betting Arena. Always so intense. He's got Emerson Pedro in his stable. He's got quite a few good fighters. So I'm looking forward to a very good fight from those two. And now it is time for our Fighter of the Week. Fighter of the Week. So it is time for our Fight of the Week, or our Fight of the Week. Which fight are you looking forward to on this EFC card? Which fight do you think will be fight of the night?
I think Peace, man, Peace Ngubani. He always brings the energy from the walkout, from the walkout, from the walkout. Peace Ngubani always brings that energy, because like I probably think my voice is gonna be like totally done for just when Peace walks out because he has us all screaming X X, you know. So I think also I think finally he's gonna land that like front face kick that he always tries to reach out for. So I'm hoping he could do that. But like I'm really concerned about the inconsistency of his performances. You know, he's there, he's there, but like even the way he lost
Mark
to
you.
Mark Hume, that was like just it broke me personally, because like it just showed how elite CIT guys are. But I think this is like a really good matchup for him, Yeah, but I'm just hoping that he could like really get
Pull
back to
something
the
out the
winning.
bag.
Yeah, yes, because he is something else. Like he deserves to be in Saudi. He deserves to be in the UFC because he has that branding. He has that fan base. He has even the chance, bro. Like not a lot of people have chance that like you can like legit get behind, and he's just the way he carries himself. Also, he's just somebody that you definitely want to root for, but it's just the performances that are lacking. So I'm hoping that he could just like break through, because like he also trains with Gift the Walker, and he yeah. So and also you see Gift is like doing good for himself. So I'm just
Mm.
hoping that he could break through into the elite levels.
That's a very good point. And shout out to Gift the Daywalker. He was recently fighting out in UAE Warriors 53 out in Saudi Arabia, Arabia versus Africa. Didn't come out with a W, but a great fight. We know how it goes when you're not in your home territory, and the judges are the judges. So
Yeah,
yeah,
the judges are the judges. So
we
I'm
saw
I'm
what happened with
I'm
Juliana Pena.
yes,
Okay.
yes, 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 yes. You see, so yeah, I'm hoping that he could like break into like the elite of the welterweight division, and I'm hoping I could see him like have his title, man, because he's been like doing title runs and stuff, and yeah, I just hope that he could like the front face, man. It would just be so poetic if he got that because he's been itching for it.
He really has. I think from my side, my fight of the night is the fight that you mentioned. First off, Ntando Zondi versus Godfrey Mkwanazi. Now, it is on the prelims. It's not on the main card. Should be picking a main card fight, but this one for me, I guess I'll say A is close to my heart, and B is what I think will be one of the most exciting fights on the card. Like you said, Ntando Zondi training under legend Demar Pena, Team CIT. I mean,
Come
what
on,
more do you need?
yeah,
He is a Muay Thai champion. I mean, the kid is phenomenal. Godfrey Kunazi, Feral Spunky. He he's got so much skill. He trains out of Godfather MMA with Billy the Kid Oosthuizen, as you said. And I think with the energy that they're both bringing for this fight, because we had them both on the podcast. So please, guys, do listen, like, follow, subscribe. You can listen to their interviews on our channel. But if we look at the energy that they both brought, where Godfrey's like, listen, I'm trying to get to the top. I think I'm good. I know I'm going to get through Intando. I should be looking past him. And Thanos like, listen, I'm just here to fight. I don't know why why he be. I'm not going to talk anything negative about my opponent. Let's just fight.
yeah.
But the energy that they're both bringing, I'm really looking forward to that fight and just seeing the skills at play. In Tando's, I mean, if you see the feints in Tando uses, and you've seen the feints in Tando uses when he fights,
Come
it's
on now, jabs,
oh,
like kicks. He's
sumptuous,
just
sumptuous.
he's
Ooh.
prolific, man. He's just so talented. I'm hoping they don't fast track him to the UFC, because I want him to face adversity. I want him to learn to pull fights from the fire, so that like when he goes to the UFC, he doesn't crumble under the pressure, under the lights. Because you saw what the
It is
pressure
different.
the UFC did to Cameron, and that that was something else. You know, it's because yes, he has strikers behind him, but obviously when you're there, and yes, you might have your coaches shouting at you and giving you advice, but I am I am really looking forward to Ntando. Maybe I would say he could do 5 fights in the EFC. Maybe go up to Saudi since the Pena is also in Saudi, and maybe he could go up to KSW. You know, so that he can get like that wrestling-based Dagestani fighters and teach them a few things. Then I think he should go to Tough, or maybe he could sign for the Dana White Contender Series. Maybe he could do that. So maybe he should get like maybe 11 fights in before he goes up to, because yes, he said he's not here for a long time, but a good time. So I'm looking forward to seeing him like earn his stripes, you know, because he is like very good. But the last thing I want is for him to be thrusted into the UFC and crumble under the pressure.
Look, I agree with you 100%. He needs to have a solid career, as short as he wants it to be. And if he can get it done, I think that would be amazing, especially because he's training under, you say Dagestani wrestling. There's also now CIT wrestling, which I can't wait to see someone from CIT, maybe specifically Drickers, going up against Dagestani wrestling and seeing how that plays out. That's something I want to see.
Let's hope Chimaev wins the Whitaker fight. Then probably he's gonna be next after Strickland.
At middleweight, I don't know, but I mean that's a different discussion. That's I think let's definitely bring you onto the show, and let's definitely have a chat about that one, because that's a very interesting topic. But now we are going to go into the odds and see what parlays people can take up to actually make some money off these fights. Sponsored by World Sport Betting. When I say sponsored, I just simply mean that we use their odds. So thank you, World Sport Betting, for the odds, but really do sponsor us. Like, we need sponsorship. All this looks great, but geez, please sponsor us, World Sport Betting. Please.
We need that Luke Michael money.
Oh, yes. And Rick's money. I mean, they're both sponsored by World Sport Betting. Okay, now coming to the fight odds on the prelims. Lots of interesting fights. I just want to point out that there are no odds for Lucky Makeka versus Emerson Pedro, because that fight only changed today. So it is a short notice fight for Emerson Pedro. We know how short notice fights go. It's 2-day notice, big balls. Let's get it, Emerson, the coolest kid in Mozambique. Love watching him fight. Elana Cabeza. If you hear that, you know I'm telling him to kick him in the head in Portuguese in the EFC Performance Institute, the World Sport Betting Arena. So I'm looking forward to that fight, but there are no odds on that fight. A nice spread of odds here. We'll get to the parlays in a second. Which odds stand out for you from what you're seeing here?
I think the Zombie fight, like I said, Zombie fight. Let me see. Moyo. Yeah, Moyo also like brings in like he's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter. Let me see. It is a tough one. But let me see. Nkosi versus
Shadrack Yemba.
Yeah,
yes.
Shadrack, I think Nkosi versus, yeah, you know. So
although that one is tricky. Shadrack is 1-0, Nkosi's 0-3. So that
it's a tough one. You know, it's a tough one.
It's a tough one. And for the main card, these are the odds on the main card. The odds that I specifically want to point out, and we'll have a look at the parlays in a second. Actually, we'll have a look at the parlays now. Specifically is Rudy Roots, Peace Ingupani, Ntando Zondi, Guide Moy, like you said, and adding in there Kelvin Smith. Now, that Kelvin Smith odd is those Kelvin Smith odds is what I think would take any parlay to wherever you need it to go, like rocketing. Because if you look at the odds with him against Mickey Kluter, Mickey is essentially, it's a very tight fight. It's a very, very close fight there. But I think Kelvin has been slightly more active than Mickey. I think he's been training hard. He's been grinding over the past year. And I think that extra dog is what might just come out on top. I think a decision, not a split, probably unanimous 29-28, or possibly a split, but I think that one's going to go to Kelvin Smith. So for me, that's the primary odd that you need to look at in order to boost whatever bets you have. And then Thunder Zone is a sure thing. Peace, the legend killer, because he wants to take down a legend. Jason Calverwell
Yeah.
hasn't fought in 5 years. I mean, talk about ring rust. That isn't even ring rust. It's like the Titanic at
Yeah.
the bottom of the ocean. It's dust now. It's gone.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's
So
gone.
peace
Yeah.
is almost a sure thing. And then Rudy Roots, the odds kind of support what you're saying. So I think that then the Rudy Roots versus a Yana Zwane fight would then be another fairly certain fight to take up. And if you take up these fights on a parlay, you will definitely make a lot of money because these are sure fights with the outside fight, with the outside odds from Kelvin Smith.
Yeah, I think add on Rudy Roots. Sorry, I think add on Billy Oosterhuizen, and so they
That's
still like,
true.
yeah, add on Billy Oosterhuizen, and yeah, I think, you know, but like I always say, like, cause like I beat myself up every day because of I think I bet on UFC 300 and
Hmm.
Charles Oliveira, the one guy I was like literally rooting for, made me lose like 3K, and I was like,
Mm,
oh, come on,
mm,
Charles. Yeah.
mm, mm.
His
Yeah, that,
brother
that
was
that
out.
that was an unexpected loss.
Oh, it was Almond Sarukian, man. But big shout out to him, man. I'm looking forward to
With the
seeing
axe
him with
kick.
yo. But like, yeah, man, I'm just looking forward to seeing him with Islam. But yeah, let's make it Billy Oosterhuizen, and I will be making sure that I'm placing my bets tomorrow. Yeah.
I agree with you 100%. Adding him in there is another almost sure thing. Although Rian Dunn is 2-0, Billy 7-6. So, sometimes with these undefeated fighters, they've got this additional hunger, or something just seems to happen if it goes to decision that goes their way. Like, ooh,
Yeah.
that one is tricky. But yeah, I agree. Adding Billy to that parlay would be a very good way to make good money on these fights. I mean, that is all we have right now for this show in terms of the prediction show for EFC 118. I had an absolutely great chat. What else is going on? I think the one thing that has happened recently we heard about is UFC Africa that is not coming to Africa. In other words, the Drickus defense does not look like it will be coming here. Now, we put out a post saying it's going to be in Los Angeles. Look, to be honest, right now it might be in Sydney because that doesn't sound like it's confirmed. But
Yeah.
with rumors like that, it literally just means it's not coming here. That's what it means. How do you feel about that?
I was heartbroken, bro. I was heartbroken. Oh, I'm like Dana White and his lies. Oh, Dana White and his lies. He always promises this thing, then he delivers the next thing, and I'm like, oh, like I literally, my heart sank when I saw your post, man. My heart sank. But, but like, I'm looking forward to, maybe it will give us like, because I was talking to Sia from the Fighting Pod, uh, the Fight Talk
Yeah,
Pod, and he was like,
fighting talk
maybe,
about, yeah.
yeah, they'll bring like a fight night for Africa first, just to test out the market, and like that kind of makes sense, because I was
Mm,
thinking, okay, yes, we have Temba, we have Usman, maybe, or maybe they could give us Easy. They could give us like a rematch for Easy and trick us, because like we know we have like Nigerians in South Africa, and that would be like something else. But it broke my heart personally. But I'm looking forward to that fight, man. Since like Sean Strickland said there was a headbutt, there was no headbutt there. Come on, man. He's just like salty. He got his ass handed to him by a guy that eats pop and fleece.
mm,
But
mm.
yeah. Yeah, he's just salty about that. And yeah, big shout out to Drakus, man, for like being active also, because I think Dana said he was not gonna fight. uh his fight was supposed to be UFC Africa, but like Drakus is like, okay, I don't mind that, I'll defend. So I think the if Drakus wins that fight, it's gonna be a for sure thing that he might fight Izzy. But like I'm just tired of Easy getting infinite title shots. Okay, like he's yes, we understand he's like a really good technical fighter, but come on, man, like how many title fights does he have? And I'm still bitter from the knockout he gave to Alex. So yeah.
Poatan, the GOAT at this point, almost. Let's go, Pereira. Look, I think that fight should happen, even if it's not a title fight. I think that fight needs to happen in Africa. Drickus needs to fight Izzy, even if even if Izzy's about 41 and like he's just about to retire and it still hasn't happened. But it needs something needs to happen. They need to bring it here, like you said, for a fight night, even if it's not a pay per view. Sure, but something has to happen.
Yeah, something needs to break.
Aggie, thank you so much for joining me on the Prediction Show. I had an amazing time. To everyone listening, do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe at Head Kick Pod on all platforms. Aggie, please tell us where people can find you on the socials.
You can find me on my Instagram. My Instagram is Achi the Kraken, and also Elite Slap Sports, man. Like there's the where is it? Where is it? Yeah,
It's
it's
right
there.
above your
It's
head, the
there.
logo.
Yeah, it's right above my head. It's Elite Slap Sports. Yeah, come watch some fights, man. I don't know. Like maybe we could do this more often, man. This is like really something I've been keen to doing, and it's also giving me that knowledge of MMA that I desperately need. So yeah,
And just shout out to Elite Slap Sports. That is their logo there, the third logo from the top. Elite Slap Sports, the home of African slap sports. If you like power slap, if you see what Dana White's doing in America with power slap, Elite Slap Sports is the same in Africa, but taking it to the people. So definitely look out for them. They're doing amazing stuff. We will be covering more of Elite Slap Sports as they progress in South Africa. Agi, before you go, can you please give us a nice loud kick him in the head?
kick him again.
Absolutely love it. To everyone listening, until next time, salute.
Hey man, thank you, man. I appreciate it.